Alrighty.
Okay, yeah, we're already back into this. So, guys, we're going to have more nerdy introductions for you. Don't worry. This is Riff, I'm casting with Zeph. This is, of course, the ShowcraftTV Showmatch series. It's a $200 best of 7, and we're only in game number 2. This is spawning in the lower right corner of the map. Playing for Clarity Gaming. It is, of course, the red Terran player, Dragon.
And his opponent, spawning as the Pebbles Egg from Complexity, it is Hendralisk.
Yeah, it's so weird to consider him on Complexity because Hendralisk was like his own man for the longest time. Was not someone who like really had a team that backed him up. And I was so happy when we found Complexity because I feel like that's the one team that he just meshes perfectly with. I mean, he's already friends with Sasquatch. He's got a lot of great Zerg support from other teams. I want to see Hendralisk do so well. But the one thing that really worries me in this show match, especially, you know, if you've watched Hendralisk in the past, he is sadly one of the players who's got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of great forethought, but he also cracks under pressure. Now, luckily, this is kind of a show match. It's a once-off. Like, you can just kind of chill, relax, and put on the best show that you can. And hopefully none of that gets to him here today.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's coming off a pretty simple win in the first game. I guess you could almost call it a build on a win, in a way.
It's a really greedy build out of Dragon. I mean, that's the only way to look at it. He got punished for it. He had no scouting. Hopefully he rectifies. Well, if he doesn't go greedy, at least hopefully he rectifies the scouting issue in this particular this particular one. As Newkirk is kind of a big map that you can get caught off guard by.
Yeah. Pretty interesting game one, going for the 3cc before Rax. 0 scouting whatsoever. I guess he was very confident in his ability to pull off that build, but perhaps he'll switch it up in this next game. Still not deterred from going CC first, though.
Yeah, CC first is kind of something. You know, it's weird. Like I have these weird like nostalgic moments of Wings of Liberty where like if someone goes CC first, it was really greedy, and they'd be punished for it duly so. But in Heart of the Swarm, CC first is kind of more common. In fact, not like a 3cc rush like we saw last game, but even a 3cc build is almost standard.
Yeah. And this is pretty cool by Hendralisk, considering what happened in the last match as well. Already adapting his play, going 3 hatch before pool, even going gas before the pool. So he's going super greed himself, and of course, Dragon not really going to be able to punish it. And yeah, also, if you get a second, guys, it is indeed Hendralisk up 1-0, not Dragon.
Oh, it already got swapped.
Just ran away.
Yeah, I took that already. The problem, yeah, that's the problem when you learn in the game. You never know who's going to spawn on top at the bottom. But luckily, Blizzard lets you just Control Shift X and you can keep swapping that all day. So hopefully I didn't do it too many times. There should still be Hendralisk up 1-0 in this series. Now, being the fact it's a best of 7, for those who have no idea how the basic concept of that works, first to 4 wins is what it boils down to. But as stated earlier, we're going to fingers crossed that we go all the way to 7 games.
Indeed. We like maximum TVZ. TVZ, I think, is still more or less my favorite matchup in Heart of the Swarm. I don't know why, but it just gets really, really, really exciting after like 12 minutes. It's like constant action makes up for not much happening in the early game. And of course, that's what's going to be happening here, since both players fast expanded, greedy builds. There's not a lot of action to be had until some units finally start being produced on Dragon's behalf. Or, alternatively, if Hendralisk has some sort of big, scary mid-game push planned, it'll be until then.
Well, I like that he's got the wall off starting here because Dragon, of course, doesn't know what's coming. But I gotta tell you, if there's one thing he's probably safe on betting, it's that Hendralisk probably won't roast drop again. It's not a strategy you could really get away with too many times, and it's something that I think the core strength of it, especially in that last map, was just catching him off guard. Because if Dragon had fought that army head on at the wall, Dragon would have held that. He would have taken a lot of losses, but he certainly would have held that. But the drop was the big advantage, and Hendralisk, you're not going to get away with it twice, so I don't think he's even going to try.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he'll have some other tactics up his sleeve, I'm sure. The Dragon should certainly be more cautious as well, and we might even see him possibly churn out a Viking or something like that, as many Terrans do, try and clear up the vision of Hendralisk, get rid of all that airspace vision on the bottom of the map too, because of course that is the most common path for drops.
It's almost certainly going to be Banshee first, but yeah, I agree. Like, getting that one Viking out is kind of critical. It doesn't seem like a lot, but picking off the Overlords, limiting your opponent's vision, I mean, that's what you're doing with the creep, and that's what the Vikings do with the air.
Yeah, certainly. So once he's done with those Banshees, he can try and throw one out. And there goes the swap. Actually misses the tech lab actually in his main when he swapped the add-ons over, so it's going to be a little bit more delayed, but not to worry.
Awkward.
Oh my goodness, we have a fusion call coming up.
What? Dragon is a showman, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually kind of cool, because Hendralisk, the biggest weakness of all Zerg players is the lack of anti-air. Now, some of you guys might be like, LOL, Dragon's just troll and it's Dragon, but legitimately, if he opens with Banshee, Hendralisk might throw in a couple Spore Crawlers, but I imagine he'll continue through with Roaches and Lings afterwards. And just if he doesn't make a Hydra Dent, Dragon might catch him completely off guard with a Battlecruiser.
Yeah, certainly. This was a build that was actually done by, it was Bjorn Sleep in GSL, I think. You come with a 2-base battlecruiser rush with about 4 battlecruisers. You keep your Hellions, you keep your Marines, and you just go for a fat push with like a 15 SCV pool. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he's going to do, but that's certainly one possibility, and he's held onto his Hellions so far.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to keep them alive for sure. That Banshee will certainly do a bit of harass and try and distract Dragon, but the sad thing is, Hendralisk, to shut this down, all you really need to do is scout it. And an Overlord flying into the natural, or sorry, even into the main, will see this coming from a mile away.
Yes, indeed. And actually, if you guys caught the TVZ beforehand, the one thing that you'll notice as a difference between Masan and Hendralisk's play is that Masan always gets that Overlord speed.
Oh gosh, and
very
Hendralisk,
early on in the game.
yeah, and Hendralisk not going for that will cost him the Overlord. He sees the tech lab on the starport, but realistically, with the Banshee already on the field, that's nothing he didn't already know.
Yeah, it looks really normal for him right now. He's going to be assuming that Dragon will most likely transition back into that normal biomine composition, but he's got to make sure he keeps poking up the ramp, keeps poking at the bases, has a look at the thirds, and sees what's actually going on from Dragon, because hopefully he can pick up on the fact that something's amiss. It's not quite what he's used to.
Man, I really want to see this work out of Dragon, not because it's Dragon, not because it's Hendralisk, but because this build is so uniquely cool. Like, how often do you see TVZ and it's the same build over and over and over again? So, like, I gotta give it to Dragon. If nothing else, even if this doesn't work, he's putting on a show for you guys. And that's exactly what this is, a show match. But my fingers are crossed and my heart's palpitating and I really want this to work.
Okay, so he's going to actually push out pretty early with the first battlecruiser, maybe?
I don't know if Hendralisk saw that.
He's seen it now.
Yeah, he might have just seen that.
Yeah, he's just paying attention. He certainly would have seen the battlecruiser, but this comes about a minute and a half earlier than the original push the first time we saw it. And, I mean, the spy's not even finished yet. He's desperately going for Lynx and Banes. His Marines and Hellions still on the ground.
Boots on the ground right now. We got Marines to clear out the Spore Crawler, allowing the Battlecruiser and the Banshee to move in. Couple Lings across the field. We're trying to cut off reinforcements, but really it's just scouting information. That Battlecruiser has now certainly been revealed, and 7 Corruptors are what comes out first. But this actually works out really nicely because Dragon's Marines are not going to have Mutalisks to deal with, but instead just Corruptors who cannot shoot back.
And he messes up his position just for one moment, gets completely surrounded on the ground by all the Lings and Banes. Hendralisk can use those to counterattack while the Corruptors come out.
And the Corruptors are just going to destroy this Battlecruiser. Dragon, for a moment there, had this really strong army, but a really great surround out of Hendralisk did actually shut that down more than he does. But the Banelings, oh, actually not the Banelings, sorry, the Widowmine gets a pretty good hit off. So I'm just used to Banelings exploding at this point still.
Right. No, the wall isn't up. He's got the units fighting desperately on the front. They can't get the hit it needs.
He gets a pretty good one. But is it going to be enough? The Battlecruiser will come clean this up. Of course, across the field, the Corruptors already dispatched that offensive Battlecruiser. And Dragon, man, the production can't... I don't think production off 2 bases like this is going to keep up with the 3-base Zerg. It's just not going to happen. He's got... There we go. Command center not coming down. He's got to try and expand, because if he doesn't, he'll just slowly starve to death.
Yeah, I really like that he tried this build out, but it just went a little bit pear-shaped for him, unfortunately. And I don't think, yeah, he didn't actually scout it until it was moving out. So he just had the right timing on the builds to be able to time out that spy, get those Corruptors out in time, and crush the ground army. So it worked out pretty well for Hendralisk. He's in a really good spot right now, and Dragon's going to continue to push out a little bit, see if he can do some extra damage, maybe catch Hendralisk.
This Battlecruiser is so screwed.
Yeah, medevacs too. Needs to make sure he holds on to those.
Yeah, we got a lot of Banelings coming up behind this 4 Hendralisk, though. It's not a significant amount, but it's more than enough to deal with what's on the ground. But again, the precarious situation that Hendralisk is in is, while he's certainly in a good spot, he doesn't have Mutalisks. He can't be, well, he's now getting Mutalisks, but he can't be mobile. He can't go offensive. He's got to play defensive for the time being.
Yeah, interestingly as well, he continued to produce Corruptors for a little while, whereas Dragon isn't necessarily churning out many battlecruisers.
It's
He
one
only
at a
just
time.
started
It's,
them.
yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like he could have probably invested that into something else for the time being, because what he had was enough to kill the one battlecruiser that's out. He also has a fair few Lings and Banes on the ground to crush the ground army. But I really like this from Dragon, just poking in and out, being really annoying, keeping him on his toes and off his back while he establishes a third base and continues to rally units across the map.
Yeah, this is, again, there's not many Mutalisks in this army, but there's enough to keep the Medivacs at bay, enough to clean up Widow Mines if you can get the Overseer in position. I mean, it's kind of awkward to say, but I think like if Dragon took like a really defensive position with some missile turrets down, I think he can take a fight, but this is going to be rough. He's got to get the best spreads of his life off. There's so many banelings here. And well, he's going for Yamato Cannon. I'm not sure I understand that choice, but okay.
Well, he might be able to use it on the on a few of the Corruptors.
Oh, Marine's gonna get taken out though.
Oh, the Widow Mines actually take out a chunk of Marines. The rest of the banelings rolling in Mutas, and Corruptors are gonna follow.
There's still a lot of Marines still though standing, but it's just a couple Lings on the ground. It's gonna be just enough. 2 Marines left, 1 battlecruiser against. What's actually kind of funny, Hendralisk can't quite continue pushing yet. He's got a lot of Corruptors, but again, nothing to shoot the ground.
Yeah, Corruptors unfortunately not able to spit on the ground with a corruption or anything like that. They can only corrupt units, soften them up for the rest of it. But that said, though, like, I mean, at least this way, more battle cruisers is kind of out of question. The Medivacs get sniped very quickly and easily from these Corruptors, and it's just up to the ground army to finish them off.
A really nice call for chat that I didn't really consider because you don't ever see battle cruisers. The Yamato Cannon will be to take out the Overseers, so the Widow Mines can't be detected, but it's not going to matter if Hendralisk knows where they are. He can manually detonate the banelings on top of them. In fact, he's rolling them on top anyways. Dragon with actually some really nice spreading. I got to give it to him. But oh god, what is happening here? Is this me or is this you?
I don't know.
I think it's me.
You. Oh dear.
How can it be me? I'm streaming and I've still got connection.
I'm so confused.
How does that work? Battle.net, why are you so cool?
Crash for you?
No, I'm still open. Okay, I'll hit surrender because I don't want to hold this up. But okay, I guess radio broadcast the game. That I don't know what the hell just happened.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be over in a second anyway. Maybe just let it time out, see if you can recover.
No, I already left the thing. That's.
Okay. Oh, it hasn't said you've dropped. That's really weird.
I don't understand what just happened. I'm still clearly online. I'm on the Battle.net. I wasn't dropped. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that happened, but it happened. There's not a lot we can do about it.
You're not missing too much, guys. There's just Corruptors camping the production of Dragon at the moment. Lings are kind of tearing through everything else. There's not really any units left, bar 2 Marines and 2 Widow Mines. And so hopefully we'll be seeing a GG from Dragon soon. We'll be able to get into the next match. The third base is going to fall as well, and there's just constant rallies from Hendralisk, so it won't be long at all. Dragon is on borrowed time at the moment, pushing out with 10 Marines. It's pretty scary.
I'm looking at my connection. It was never even interrupted. That was just a weird Battle.net problem, like, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I had that a couple times yesterday as well.
Yeah, sorry, stream. My sincerest apologies. Not intended to have that happen for sure.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. So we've got actually like 30 banelings rolling into Dragon's base right now. The splits from Dragon are pretty good, but that's it. We've got the GG. Well played from Dragon. And Hendralisk goes up 2-0 in this best of 7.
I'm so bummed that happened, but okay, we can get over it. We'll move on. Of course, I'll paste the maps here for the players to pick from.